Gunline. We got a fire mission coming down, y'all. I'm your host, Lopez, and you're listening to the On the Gunline podcast, episode number 292. God damn, time is flying by. On today's episode, we got a homeboy who is coming here to the Gunline. He used to be a Delta or Juliet, whatever the fuck they're called now. And then he went to being a Fox. Fucking fisters. Oh, shit, son. It should be getting wild here on the gun line today. So go on and pop a squat because it's going to get hot. You are on the gun line now. With that being said, I'd like to introduce my guest. I've never met him till literally 3 to 5 minutes ago. And all I know is his last name is Duke. And I think he might be related to David, but I'm not sure. And if y'all don't get that joke, y'all need to step out. All right. Anyways, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Not too bad, man. Just hanging out. Just wife just got home, so we're just kind of chilling.
Hell yeah, son. Oh man, I tell you what, I don't miss those days of coming home and then well now it's flip-flopped, I guess, because I don't come home. I am home. I'm a stay-at-home dad now. So are you working or you know what?
Yeah, I work.
Let's pump the brakes on this. We're getting way ahead of ourselves already.
All right.
Just so excited to be here. You know what I'm saying? To have a new guy to have a shoot the shit with, because normally it'll be me or I'm doing a midweek memo, but a shoot the shit is what this purpose of this shit was for. So anyway, with that said, your name is Richard.
Yes. Yeah.
Richard Duke.
Richard Duke.
Right? All right,
Yeah.
Duke. Tell us about yourself, man. What's your story?
Like where do you want me to start?
Well, let's
Or
start
like
off
what aspect?
let's go to where you from originally?
I'm from Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Western Slope, not like Denver or anything. I'm from a very small rural town. Like the closest Walmart is 2 hours away, in any direction. Uh, like there was like in my high school, there was 100 kids in my entire high school. Yeah.
God damn. Okay. So you come from like a small little town out in Colorado. So when you say the western slope, are you talking about like on the other side of the Rockies, on the western
Yes.
side?
So yeah, Western Slope is the western side of the Rockies.
Gotcha.
So like I was like almost in Utah, pretty much. Like
Gotcha.
it was closer for me to get into Utah than it was for me to go to like Colorado Springs or anything like that.
Gotcha. Man, I'll tell you what, Colorado is fucking beautiful, bro. I loved it out there. I was stationed out there in Carson. So from 2011 to 2015, at a 277 FA. And I tell you, I loved it out there. But the cost of living, too fucking much. So you come from a small town out in fucking Colorado, 100 kids to your high school. That's fucking crazy. Do you have any prior military family, like your dad, your mom's, grandpops, anything like that in the military?
And my cousin Jeff, he was in the military. He was a mortarman, an 11 Charlie,
Okay.
and he was older than me, and he had deployed a bunch and all kinds of stuff, and he had actually he got out because he got blown up, and he was going to be a triple amputee, but they were able to save his legs, so he
Oh
only
shit.
lost one arm.
Okay.
So like he was, and then there's two other people, but he was a big influence on like a lot of my decisions when I was going into the military, for sure. Like he was going through all my paperwork and he was telling me like, what was going on.
Okay.
Uh, and then my grandfather, he was in the Air Force. And he's not really my grandfather. He's like my aunt's father, but not my mother's father.
Gotcha.
Um, but him and his son, they were both so Grandpa Carl, he was in the Air Force for like 25 years.
Oh
And
shit.
then my uncle David, which is his son, he and I were both in at the same time. And he was an uh, officer though. So,
Okay. Whole
and
different
we were never
experience.
state. Yeah, exactly.
All right, right on.
So
So what got you? Well, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 29.
29?
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
shit.
29. Yeah.
Okay, right on, right
Yeah.
on. What year did you join?
2014.
Oh shit, I was already on my way out, baby. Yeah, I was med boarding at that
Yeah.
time. Second half of 2014, I was already on med board. Fucking cool shit. So how did you end up joining? Why? Like what got your attention? And specifically, why did you end up in the army of all places?
So like actually um originally I wanted to go into the Marine Corps when
Mm-hmm.
I was like in high school and stuff. Uh and I didn't go to like a like I my high school, I said there was 100 kids in my school. That was like the traditional high school that I was going to. And I ended up dropping out and going to Job Corps. I don't know if you know what Job
Ooh,
Corps is.
bro, San Diego Job Corps graduate right here, baby.
Yeah, yeah. I went to Colburn Job Corps,
Okay.
Colburn, which is in Colorado. And I don't know what your Job Corps was like, but like my Job Corps, like we lived there. Um,
We used to
yeah.
get
So some
paid.
of them,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. We get paid. I did the whole thing. So I like did the whole Job Corps program, and that's kind of like being in the army or being in the
Mm-hmm.
military. Um, but I was wanting to go into the Marines, and that would have been like in 2012.
Okay.
Uh, but Job Corps didn't want me to like because they have a lot of control over your life. Like a lot of people don't realize that. Um, I was underage, so I couldn't
Oh, okay.
do a lot of things. So I was only 16, and I was like 17 when I was graduating.
So then
So I was
you
trying
ended up
to.
getting your GED while you were in Job Corps then?
I got my high school diploma
Oh, you got your through Job Corps or before?
through Job Corps.
Oh,
So
okay.
the Job Corps I went to, I don't know how all of them work, but they
Mm-hmm.
had a high school program
Oh,
where I
okay.
went.
Yeah, see, when
Yeah.
I went there in Job Corps, I went in San Diego, but this is 1995 when I went. All right, so just to put the perspective on that shit, 1995, I went to Job Corps in San Diego, and 1 week you would do GED work, to get your good enough diploma, and then the second week will be trade week, and depending on whatever trade you selected, that week's would you like. I was in solar, I did like solar panel installation and shit like that, which led me to nowhere. But anyways, they did pay me every fucking week or every 2 weeks, and I used to go to TJ and spend that money, baby. So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, they do control, especially if you're under seven. If you're 17, they don't let you do anything, bro. I mean, you couldn't even go off campus. At least where I was at, you couldn't go off campus until you passed the swim test. You weren't allowed to go on campus. I mean, it's fucking dictatorship there. You know what I mean? And then you're right about the whole military thing. Like in our rooms, we had like 2 roommates, and you have to have the hospital corners on the beds, no dust. God damn, they were strict as fuck back then, man. My bad. Go ahead, baby.
No, no, yours that's cool. Mine was my Job Corps was different. So same hospital corners and all that, but like there was like 10 dudes in the room that I lived in. There was like
Oh,
10 of us. Yeah.
dang.
So it was like how it was set up was bed, closet, divider, bed, closet, divider, bed, closet, divider.
Mm-hmm.
And so all you had was a closet to put your stuff in. And
Mm-hmm.
we weren't allowed to have phones. There were pay phones in the day room. No one
Yeah,
was allowed to leave, except for on the weekends.
right.
So they had like a rank system, and if you as you like ranked up, you could get more weekend passes, and then so you could go out instead of going out one weekend a month, you could go out two, and then when you got a little bit higher, you'd go three, and then a little
Oh
bit higher, you'd
shit.
go four. But during the
Oh man.
day, like
Mm-hmm.
Monday through Friday, you couldn't leave at all unless you were like in the highest rank, which was gold. If you were in gold, you could leave after class and stuff.
Oh no shit. Yeah, they had y'all locked down, bro. Because I mean, for us, they let us go out like on between 5 and I think we had to be back by 10. And they used to take us in these fucking little minivans and drop us off like by the mall, or and they will pick us up like every hour on the hour. There would be a pickup. So, yeah, dude. I mean, and then on the weekends, bro, TJ Tijuana was like literally 3 trolley stops away from us. So we used to party the fuck up out there. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, I don't know about your Job Corps, but when I was there, bro, this back in '95, once again, STDs were fucking flying high through that place, bro. I mean, that place was woo wee. You better wrap it up, baby. You're gonna be pissing razor blades. Oh my god, dude. So, what trade
Oh,
did you take while you were there?
I did carpentry.
Okay, okay. Did that help you out
Um,
in anything when you got into the military or no? Well, let's push
my
on.
dad.
Go ahead, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, no, my dad was a carpenter, so I already knew everything like going into it. And like that was kind of like my plan was to go to Job Corps, and I ended up graduating early because I went to Job Corps. So
Nice. Yeah, dude. I spent a
yeah.
year and a half in Job Corps. I went there. I got there in May of '95, graduated August '96. I mean,
Okay.
god damn. That- to me, that was my college years. I was a poor motherfucker. So, and Job Corps was for at-risk youth. So I was one of those at-risk youth during that time. But you know what? It did come in handy. The Job Corps came in handy for me when it came time to recruit. When I went to my recruiter, apparently they have a thing with Job Corps, so they were able to allow me in the army, even if I have a GED, as long as I had a 50 or above on my ASVAB. So
Okay.
yeah, dude, because with the GED, they weren't trying to take us in too much, until the war got a little more I guess with needing more bodies. So, talk to me about your adventures as the recruiter. How'd that end up?
Like when I enlisted,
Yeah.
I
How'd you
actually
end up
enlisted out of
enlisting?
I enlisted out of Tulsa actually. So, and this is kind of funny. I moved after I graduated. We moved out here, and I lived out in Tulsa. I'm in Tulsa right now.
Okay.
So, lived out in Tulsa for a couple years, and I was framing houses, and I was making good money, but I was just kind of like a pothead kid, and I was younger than everybody, and I really wasn't like going anywhere or
Right.
doing anything. Um, so I had kind of been like, okay, like I got to figure something out. I got to do something else, and I like had applied for jobs, and I had quit smoking weed, and I um, was like applying to go to college and all this stuff. And I had this girlfriend, and she I always say that I was dating a stripper, but she wasn't a stripper at the time, but she
Right.
used to be a stripper. And we were there's this. You ever heard of Rocklahoma?
No. What is that?
Oh, so it's Rocklahoma is just like a big concert, like it's 2 or 4 days, and you get campsites and you go out there and stuff.
Kind of like
And I
Coachella
was
type
saving up.
deal.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's like rock and
Gotcha.
roll stuff. Um, and I had been saving up money to buy our tickets and to get a campground, like a campsite. So like you go and you camp out, and then you
Hmm.
go into the whole thing. And that girl, she fucking stole all my money and then split. And I had been like during like that month before she had left, I had been like thinking about, oh, okay, like maybe I'll go join the army. This oil company had offered me a job to go work on the oil rigs, and like this college was trying to get me to go to college. And so
Hmm.
I had some things going on, and I was like, fuck it, like let's just go to the army. And I went into the recruiter's office, and I had like some pothead shirt on, and I was like, yo, I want to join the army. And they said, you need to take a drug test.
Mm.
And so they made me piss in a cup, and I passed because I had quit smoking. But they piss test me every single time I went into the recruiter's office, and they like pushed me into the 13 Delta stuff. I didn't know what it was. They just said it was artillery, and I was like, I don't want to do this. And they were like, look here, let's sign a contract for the 13 Delta stuff. You're gonna have to wait 6 months, and if something better comes up in those 6 months, like we'll give you that. And nothing better came up, and like they were just like they pushed me through the whole process really quick. So it was
Hmm.
um like I went in and I was like, I want to join the army, and they said you need to take a drug test. Took a drug test, and then they were like, when can you take the ASFAB? And I was like, you tell me when. They
Hmm.
scheduled me like the next week. I went and took the ASFAB, And during that week, I had filled out all the paperwork, and then I took the ASVAB, and I scored like a 50 something. And then immediately they turned around and they were like, okay, you got to go to MEPS, and we have you slotted for this 13 Delta thing. It's an artillery thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to do it. Like I was like, I don't want to be a 13 Delta. And then,
Right.
but I was like, when I get to MEPS, I'll talk to him and I'll see if I can change it.
Right.
So I got to MEPS, and the dude was like, well, we can pull this off of your paperwork, but if there's no other jobs available, there's nothing we can do for you. And like then I got nervous and I was like, oh fuck, I'll just take it. I'll just take whatever
Yeah.
I can get. Ended up as a Delta.
What did you want to do? Like if they would have if knowing what you know now, what other position would you have gone for? Like what other MOS?
Knowing like what I know now,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been a fister. Like I would have been a fister from the beginning. Like if I had known what a 13 Fox was before I
Mm-hmm.
joined the army, because
Yeah.
like nobody knows what a 13 Fox is. But if I
Right.
knew what that was, I would have picked that right
Right
away.
on.
And
I mean,
anytime I have friends,
mm-hmm.
oh, go ahead.
No, you got it. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Anytime I have friends though, I'm like, and they're talking about like they want to join the military, I tell them about the 13 Fox stuff. I don't try and force them or
Mm-hmm.
convince them, but I'm like, look, you should think about this.
What turned you off about the Delta position?
I didn't know anything about it. So like basic training, uh, like the drill sergeants, they would tell people what their MOS was and stuff. And like I never did that with them until the end. I had like one drill sergeant that like I was cordial with, and I was like, yo, what the fuck is this MOS? And he was like, dude, that sucks, man. And like I went through and I did it. I did my time as a Delta, but um I just didn't want to be the nerd of artillery, you know what I mean?
Right. I got you 100%.
Yeah.
You should have been on the gun line instead. So with that, so were you mechanized or were you light?
Uh yeah, I moved around a lot. I think the amount of time that I moved around was kind of uncommon, but generally I was on like 777s.
Okay.
Um, so I went to Korea first, and I was
Oh,
in
Korea.
I don't remember what the unit was in Korea, but like I didn't even see an artillery piece. Like we just like shot rockets.
Oh,
Like
you
yeah,
went to an
I was
MLRS unit?
uh I think they had artillery, but like it was like I worked in the talk. I never like
Oh, okay.
we weren't doing the gunline stuff. So um
Damn.
I forget what the unit was. Are you familiar with
Well, I was stationed in
I watched some
Korea.
of your
Yeah, I was stationed in Korea back in 2007, 2008, and I was in 1st and 15th field artillery. But I think it's
were
all
you at
now
Casey
under
or
a fires
Hovey?
brigade, right? Was that?
See, I don't remember. Oh, were you at Casey or Hovey?
I was at Hobie.
Hovey. You know where
Yep.
the movie theater at is? It at Casey? And then they
Well,
have that.
okay, the movie theater at Casey, I never went to that. I know where the bowling alley is at Casey. In Hovey, I went to the movie theater there. It was right next to the restaurant. But so you were in Casey then, right?
Casey, yeah.
Okay. I know where the what the fuck? Where the engineers are. I know where First Tank is. I remember those bus stops. And I remember the bowling alley. So
There was
were
a
you guys over by Hovey Cut by any chance? In other words, by the
so
Schoonover Bowl?
there's I remember the Schoonover Bowl,
Oh shit.
but I can't think of what it was. Uh, so there was like a big gym, the big fancy gym, and it might
Right.
not have even been there when you were there. My barracks were literally right behind the big fancy gym in Casey. So like I literally just had to leave my barracks front door, walk across the street, and walk into the gym.
Oh shit. Okay.
So um, and it was like it wasn't 210 because when I left Korea and I went to 210 at Carson,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like 218, not 218, two something like that. I don't
Okay.
remember what it was. So.
I'm not sure. I know my old sergeant, my old first sergeant was a sergeant major out there. Sergeant Major Brenton. I don't know if he was there during your time. But
No, I don't.
okay. When did you get to Korea? What year? 2014, 2015?
2000, it would have been 2015. I got
Oh,
to
okay.
Korea. So I enlisted 2014, and then early 2015, I was in Korea.
See, I always thought that Korea should not be for new people, like for new privates, because I mean, you're automatically gone for a year, bro. And then, especially the youngins, they end up making the big mistakes and end up marrying drinky girls, and there's a hierarchy there. And if you're married to one, no disrespect or anything, but there's a lot of Filipinas out there that take advantage of the Joes, and then they come over here and they just dump their asses. That's been my experience with them. So
Yeah, no, I didn't fuck with the juicy girls. We talk shit to them actually. Like me and my friend group, uh, like we didn't really go to the Ville. We would from Casey, we would try and make our way to what is that? Dongdachong is the
yeah,
city
TDC
area.
is right there. Yeah. So the Ville
Yeah,
right there
so
is
we would
TDC,
use
and then from there you could go to like Itaewon or fucking or to get out of there. I feel what you're saying though.
yeah, we would walk through the Ville, but we would usually be trying to like go like get chicken and beer or like do something else. And
Right.
we go to Wijambu quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
because you go to Wijambu. Um, uh,
Boo.
I had a lot of fun in Korea. Uh, I had a lot of fun in Korea, but
I bet you did, baby. I bet you did, dude. I mean, they used to have this. What was the joke they used to say? The fastest way to make E5 is to go to Korea as an E6. So
oh right,
I mean,
yeah, I heard that
I
a lot.
I don't know how the fuck I didn't because I got there. I was a specialist. Then I got my P status like within 2 months, and then I didn't lose my rank, bro. And I'm talking about I used to go party hard, bro. Like when I was out there in the Ville, I was at the Ville. I mean, got into a bunch of shit out there. Lots of it was just, I mean, it was stupid shit. Like I don't know how it is now, but like for example, we would fight between Hovey and Casey. Well, not even that. First and 15th and 4-7 Cav always had some kind of fucking beef going on. If there was alcohol involved, we fighting. Then for that, it will go into like between Hovey and Casey. And then when we're out in the Ville, it turns into motherfucking Area 1 versus motherfuckers that coming from Area 3 because we had the best Ville out there and at TDC. And but god damn, it was fun, man. But the juicy girls, I'm on your side with it. Like I would see them and I'd be like, because no, every time, hi, you want to buy me drink? No, just slam the fucking door on them. Like, leave me alone, bro. I just want to chill,
Yeah,
you know? Oh man. But anyways, cool. So you did Korea, then you only did a 1 year tour there then, right? Or did you
yeah,
AIP?
just no, just 1 year in Korea, and then I got the fuck out of there.
Where'd you head to from there?
I went to Carson
Okay.
after Korea. I kind of got to choose where I went, uh, but like I was told that if you were in Korea, you got to pick your next duty station. And I called my branch manager and I was like, "Yo, this is what I've been told. Is this real?" And my branch manager was being kind of cool that day, and they were like, "We'll work with you." And I said, "I want to go to Carson. I'm from Colorado," and I came down on orders to Carson. So I don't know if that was just by luck or if the branch manager actually helped me. You know what I mean?
I don't
Because I never
know.
talked to them after that.
I'll tell you what, I
So
from what I had heard was if you volunteered to go to Korea, then you had your choice of duty station on your way back. All right. But you had to
okay,
fill out some document before. And it was during your I had PCS from Fort Hood to Korea. So anyways, I chose to go to Korea and I wanted to come back to Hood. Well, about 3 months before it was time for D Rose, I had no orders yet in my motherfucking in my AKO. So I call a branch and I told him, hey, I'm supposed to be having orders back to Fort Hood and I don't see anything on my AKO. And they were like, oh no, I got you right here. Sergeant Lopez, right? Yeah, you're going to Fort Stewart, Georgia. Out fucking standing, bro. I was, and then I was like, no, I'm not. I told him I want to go to Fort Hood or I'm out. And they were like, okay, then you'll just have to send a deck statement. Oh, they got that green weenie on me though. I didn't sign a deck statement. Obviously, I stayed in, and I ended up PCS in the Fort Stewart, which turned out to be a pretty good spot actually. So, all right. So you went to Fort Carson. What unit were you in Carson?
I was in 210, 210, and I was in Alpha Battery, but it was First Brigade. So Urena, I was with Urena and Gary. He was on the show. Gary's the one who
Yeah,
he was kind of like telling me a bunch, like that I should hit you up and that I should try and come on.
yeah, dude. I'm all about
And
getting on here, bro. Because honestly, we all have stories too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, did you were you
yeah,
look? So you were with Urena. Me and Urena were together in Korea. That's where I met Urena
okay,
at. So we were both little E5s back in the day and shit. And now he's getting ready to
yeah,
come out. So you knew
yeah.
Folger
He
too, then,
wasn't.
right?
Yeah, Folger. He's my first sergeant when I
Yeah, he
was
was one
there.
of the chiefs when I was in Korea too. I was in Korea with him. He's sergeant major now.
Yeah, I like Folger a lot. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that. I have him on Facebook. So,
Same.
um, yeah. And I got Urena. I don't have like a lot of those other people though. I don't like follow or stay in contact anymore. Like there's a lot of people that were there that I just like lost connection with.
Oh, I feel
So
you. It happens, man, especially when you
yeah.
get out. So did you get to deploy at all?
So I I did not deploy.
Okay.
Carson was gonna deploy, and I had reenlisted uh for money and to reclass,
Right.
and it was right before the deployment. But after I reclassed, I came back and I was put on orders to go to Germany,
Okay.
and um, like First Arm Folger and like the battalion. I actually worked for the battalion commander at that time,
Okay.
and they all freaked out and they were like, "No, he's going on this deployment." They called the HRC and all the people, and they were trying to get my orders like dismissed or
Right.
something,
Amended.
but it didn't work out. Amended, and they basically said, no, this guy's going to Germany, and he's not going on that deployment. Sorry, and but in Germany, I did go. Like I went out to the Middle East. I went to Georgia, but I
Okay.
was only there for a couple months, and then I went all around like Ukraine, Lithuania, Latvia, Poland, on like deter Russian aggression. That was
Oh,
our
okay.
like mission.
But
So we
by that
didn't
time you had
like
already
do any.
reclassed though, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I went to Germany as a fister.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
did you advance in rank already by that time? By the time you reclassed?
So I was a specialist when because I was at like around 3 years, not even 3 years. I don't even think I was at 3 years yet when I know I had to been at about 3 years, reenlisted, and then I might not have been at 3 years. Might have been like two.
So let me pick your brain
Reenlisted.
real quick. Let me pick your brain real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're the first fister I've had on here. So I've always had a shit talking about fisters. Because I think that they're just infantry with maps. That's it, to be honest. I think it's an MOS that's obsolete. I think but that's just my opinion. But then my homeboy Frank Felice, he fucking was like, nah, man, fisters are a huge asset to the field artillery, to the gun line. What exactly does it entail to be a fister? Because like I said, as far as I know, you guys just go out with the infantry and fucking pretty much give us the fucking azimuths, the fire missions to where to fucking splash over, splash out. You know what I'm saying? That's all I know.
So those like for a good fister, that is a target of opportunity. But generally, before like when I was a fister, so like I made my five, and I got slotted as a forward observer. So like as a fister, there's other positions, but that's like the position you want to be in as an FO.
Right.
And so I was an FO for a long time, and I never wanted to get pulled from being an FO. And when my platoon, I would work with my platoon leader, which was an infantry guy, and then I was in a platoon of infantry dudes,
Okay.
and I would work with my platoon leader, and my platoon leader's goal is to just kill shit, and
Right.
then I'm just a tool or an asset of his, and he'll be like, okay, like this is a threat that we have, how do we deal with it? And we would go out and we would like survey our dry fire lanes and things like that, and I would be like, okay, this is my fires plan. I would build my own fires plans, and I would like layer fires like to make freedom of maneuver for my platoon to attack the target. And so I would have a fire mission that was hitting the objective area
Mm-hmm.
of like a 155. And then when we got within reds of the 155, I would cut it down. I would cancel that fire mission and then initiate a fire mission that was pre-planned now, and it's 120s. And
Oh,
then we get in within reds with the 120s, and then I'd cancel that, and then I'd initiate the next mission, which was like 80 millimeter mortars and then 60s. And I would have all of this planned out. So like we would be rolling in on our strikers, and the moment that we dismounted, I would get on the radio and I would say, fire target mission Alpha Alpha 1001. And then I had ATACs, like I had a map and a GPS too, but I had a program called ATACs
mm-hmm.
that I would draw all my phase lines, and like my missions would be on
Yeah.
there, and I could see my movement on the map. And so I already knew, like when I was approaching phase line such and such,
Right.
I could, call in ceasefire mission Alpha Alpha 1001, initiate fire mission Alpha Alpha 0012.
Dude, you're getting
And
my dick hard
like,
just hearing this. Go ahead, brother. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's cool, man. And then so, and then once we get up to the objective area where we can see the objective, that's when you get. And so like before all of this goes down, I'd be in briefings and they'd be like, okay, this is your allotted ammo. You have
Okay.
control of the 777s, blah, 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 blah. And it might not be my platoon that has control of the 777s. It might be in, third platoon or some shit. But
Right.
like whatever it is, I'm told you get this much ammo to deal with. And so then I would plan all of that shit that I was just telling you about. I'd plan that out with the ammo that I had, and
Mm-hmm.
I would leave like a reserve of, however many rounds for targets of opportunity. And that's when you get those missions where it's like, we've assaulted the objective, we're up on the objective, and now we have like uh some sort of, a fucking platoon of enemy coming in that's like trying to support their objective, and we're
Right.
trying to kill them. That's when I start calling off fire missions like, hey, this is me, fire mission over, and I
Right.
just start blowing shit up. And then so there's a lot to it, and it's not just artillery. Like fisters, they do artillery, mortars, aircraft. Like I've been running through the woods like doing that same shit where I'm like coordinating these missions that are pre-planned, and talking to a UAV and talking to a helicopter all at the same time, trying to like deconflict while I'm running through the woods with night vision and shit, trying
Oh,
to tell this
fuck.
helicopter like, hey, stay fucking like east of, whatever, and like fucking telling this UAV like, hey, you need to get the fuck out of the sky because we got a fucking ACH, a fucking Apache coming in or whatever.
Yeah. Dude, you got my dick hard right now. No homo. Just hearing the fucking the lingo, because I just remember hearing that shit over the radio. Anyways, this shit's about to cancel out on me. I'm gonna shoot you a new link in about 10 minutes because it's Zoom, and Zoom only allows me to do it. All right, everybody, we are back after our 10-minute break because Zoom likes to be assholes to me, and I'm a baller on a budget. So we're gonna continue here with our story with Duke. So you know what we completely went over, man. What was your experience in basic training like, bro? Like, did you have OSUT, or where'd you go to for basic?
I went to SIL for basic and AIT.
Okay.
Basic was, I mean, like I don't think the drill sergeants really liked me that much. Like not that like I'm like some kind of a badass or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I was in pretty good shape from like working construction, and like I was pretty athletic in school. Like even when I was in Job Corps, they let me play sports for like the local high school. And yeah, I grew up in a small town in Colorado. Like we had a rock wall, and like we'd go shooting. Like so, like I knew how to rappel, and like I knew how to shoot and like do obstacle courses and like all like so none of that was really hard for me.
Right.
I didn't know how to read a MGRS map, but I knew how to use a compass, and so
Okay.
like there's a lot of things that like uh
Do you remember any of your drill sergeants' names?
so the only drill sergeant I remember was Drill Sergeant Lally. He was he was 11 Bravo Drill
Okay.
Sergeant Lally, and he's the only one that liked me. So like when you go to the range to shoot in basic, you like stand there in a formation, and then like the first row steps forward, and then they go to their lanes,
Right.
and then the next people step up. So like every time I would step up and I would be next in line to shoot, Drill Sergeant Lally would come and he would find me and grab me by my by my shit, and he'd pull me out of line. He'd move me down to a different spot and he'd shove me back in line. And then when I went to my lane, it was his lane.
Ah, okay.
And he never told me how to shoot. He would just talk shit to me the whole time. He would just be like,
You didn't have like a drill sergeant
so
Flores by any chance?
not that I remember.
Or a
No.
liming? You would remember liming. And there was a, let me see, who else was there? Warling was another one. But those were all guys that I was with that went on the trail around that time. So right on. Okay. So was basic did you have an idea what to expect when you got there? Or like was it like an eye-opening experience, especially coming from like a small town?
Um, so it was, I mean, like I learned a lot. I did because like you know, I thought I was the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then like I went into the army and I was like, oh fuck, I'm just like a normal guy. Um, so,
Big
but
slice of
I
humble
uh
pie, huh?
I did expect it to be a lot harder though. Like I was humbled for sure, but like at no point in time did I ever want to quit. At no point in time did I ever think it was too hard. And I just
Okay.
like expected it to like to be something that pushed me to more of my limits than it did. And it was hard. Like I can see why people quit, but um I totally expected it to be like way harder than it was.
Something more like along the lines of Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, yeah, like I grew up watching, those war movies and stuff, and like Full
Right.
Metal Jacket, I was like, that's probably what it's gonna be like. And so
Yeah.
but it wasn't bad. I
Yeah, I was when I went through, it was back in '04, and it's a trip when you run into your drill sergeants because artillery is a small world. And you run into your drill sergeants afterwards and they're like, man, we fucked with y'all real hard. You know what I mean? This is back in '04. I mean, it was a bit tougher than probably what you had it, but it wasn't as tough as say like the '90s cats had it or the '80s cats. Every generation is gonna shit on the next generation. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
but I mean, the good thing is that you went through it, passed it, good to go. But what was it like reclassing though, from 13 Delta to 13 Fox? Now you're going through a whole new MOS. You're dealing with a whole different mentality because that's more like, especially when you're be stuck with the infantry. Did you see any similarities between the infantry world and the artillery world at all, or what were the big differences?
um so I'll cover that in like sections, I guess.
Sure.
So the process of reclassing. Um I didn't go to Fort Sill to go through my 13 Fox school.
Okay.
I went through a National Guard base in Pennsylvania. I forget what it was called. But I went out there, and that is a that base out there that I went to was some kind of active National Guard base that does nothing but reclass people.
Oh
So
wow.
they have a full artillery thing. I think it's all combat MOSs though. So they do all the combat MOSs. They do infantry, artillery. Um, I think they had some like engineers or something. Uh, so like I went out there and I did it, and it was a completely different like situation because everyone was reclassing. Everyone had already been in for a while. There was sergeants, like I don't think there was anyone below specialist there that was in the process of reclassing. So like we had a lot more freedom, and it was still, you still had to do all of the same things, and like we had to do ruck marches and all that, but it was like you were expected, like it was big boy rules
Right. It was
to
like
an
a gentleman's
extent.
course almost.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes sense.
Um, then with the comparisons to like infantry and artillery is like they're both like artillery, man, is really high energy. Like when you're in an artillery unit and you're like in a 777 unit, and you
Mm-hmm.
you have all these like young E5s that I almost feel like are on a mission to like prove themselves, and they're just like dickheads to, for the artillery guys, they're just like dickheads to people, and like they got to yell at every private they see that fucking has their like, you know, something fucked up, like their flags just barely fucked up, and they would
Yep.
just want to eat their soul. And
Guilty, guilty, guilty.
so, and I know because I was there, you know, and then when I was in the infantry world, I think it might have been a little bit different because I was in the infantry world, but I was a fister.
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't, like the infantry guys didn't fuck with me the same way that they would fuck with their soldiers.
Okay.
Um, but from what I've seen a lot is it was like if you were fucked up, you were fucked up, and they were gonna fix it. But um, I don't think that they were like, they were crazy. I've seen a lot of crazy infantry dudes, but I don't think they were as much, like you didn't run into as many like dickhead E5s or dickhead corporals as you did like in the artillery world. It's like usually about the time you're like a seasoned staff sergeant that you start to chill out, it seems like. And then in the infantry world, it's like that chill hits you a lot sooner, I feel
Okay.
like.
Yeah. I was
So
definitely that yeller. Um, as soon as I got that P status, they fucking lateraled my ass to corporal in Korea. But that was only so I could go be bus monitor and fucking pull fucking CQ and shit like that. But
yeah.
as a young E5, young sergeant, I got my section while I was out there in Korea. And so that comes with a lot of responsibility, you know. And if you know, in artillery, it's all about fucking the tiny fucking standards, the smallest fucking. We try to teach that, you know, this you're off by 1 mil, that round's gonna land in fucking Walmart instead of fucking on top of the troops that you wanted to fall on. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
got all that on us, as well as we work in organized chaos. You know, especially if you've seen if you've been on the gun line, and once that fire mission comes down and everybody's yelling fire mission, there's so many fucking things going on at one goddamn time that it takes its toll. Like being a chief to me was the funnest job, and I did eventually learn to chill the fuck out. I mean, but there were a lot of fucking NCOs though that weren't like me. Like Urena, for example. Urena's never been a yeller. Urena's always been
Yeah.
calm, cool, collected. You know, me, I've always been. I think it just depends on your leadership style. And you know, now that I'm out, hindsight being 2020, I'm sure that I could have done things differently. You know what I mean? But I love my soldiers. That's one thing. Like, I mean, I might have dug in your ass like hard, but you know, afterwards, I'm just gonna pat you on the back. All right, let's get to work, baby. You know what I mean? But I would only get mad or yell if you did something that I knew you knew better than to do. You know what I mean? Like if it, depending on the level of the fuck up and your level of knowledge, that will be my the way I come at you, you know? Um, but anyways, yeah, I used to hold my fucking Joes to high standards too. Like, I mean, in Korea, bro, that's where I learned it was like my soldiers were never allowed to tuck their fucking blouses into their boots. I fucking hated that. Hated it. So I would buy them trouser blousers if they wouldn't want to buy them. I would buy them for them so that they blouse. Because one thing about artillerymen, we're very well, we were. I don't know about now, but we were very we held ourselves in high regard and high standards about our uniform. Like our beret had to be fucking on point. Our uniform had to be pressed, starched. Boots had to be black and shined. You know what I mean? You can't look like garbage, like ass. But then you go and see the infantry cast and look like garbage. You look at the fucking tankers with their stupid ass boots and belts, look stupid. But you look at an artilleryman, we look high fucking speed, baby, until we open our mouths. And and we're like, what the fuck happened there? But nah, dude, yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, yeah, that's a trip, man. I mean, so why didn't you think about just going infantry?
Uh, so I actually, like when I reclassed,
Yeah.
um, so so there's like when I went to Fort Carson,
Mm-hmm.
we went to. I'm sure you heard about the whole Fort Knox shit. Um, like everyone goes to Fort Knox. Like when I went to Fort Carson, I went to Fort Knox, and that's where I met Urena. And he wasn't my chief because I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a 13 Bravo,
Right.
but he was like my squad leader for my cycle at Knox. And like
Okay.
we would feed the college kids and shit, like the whatever they call them.
The
And
cadets.
the cadets, yeah. So we would like go and feed them and like drag their bags around. And then
Okay.
like during that whole time, we alls we did was like work out, eat, fuck with the cadets,
Mm-hmm.
and then like turn around and study for like I had to take a test when I got back, the 13 Delta test, and
Oh shit.
alls we did was study for that shit. And then so the 13 Bravos they were studying too, and then the 13 Foxes they were studying as well. So that was like all we did was drink, party, work out, and study, and then fuck with the cadets.
Right.
And
I'm
when
I'm
we came,
sorry. You made me laugh when you said the 13 Brawlers were studying shit. I'm like, wait, what? How to sweep the line with the push broom? You know what I'm saying?
well, so I don't know
I'm just
what your
fucking busting
guys' like
balls.
test consists of, but I
It'll
know
be
you
the
guys got like
ASPT.
yeah, yeah. So well, anyways, we come back and we take those tests, and I did really well on my test. I had a lot of help from some other 13 deltas, but I did really well, and then I actually did so well that the colonel was the artillery colonel. He was looking for a new crew because all of his guys that were on his crew, the guys that like his personal RTO and driver and like
Okay.
gunner and all that, they were like PCSing and leaving. So he wanted a new crew, and I was fairly like I'd only been at Carson for 6 months,
Okay.
and I did really well on my tests. So they pulled me out, and he's like selected me to go beyond there.
Okay.
And the other guy that he selected was a fister. So the other lower enlisted guy that he selected was a fister. So me and that dude, we became like good friends, and like I learned a lot from that guy. And then when everybody was coming to the end of our contract,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that guy he reenlisted, and then we had a sergeant with us, and he dropped a packet to go to CID, and then we had Captain Holder with us, and he played um, some sport for the Army. Like he was going to go to the Olympics and shit, but
Oh,
he had to come back for the captain's career course. So he was going to go back and play fucking rugby or some shit for the Army, and um, Sergeant Shepard was going to go to CID, and Eric Majurin, which was my
snitch.
buddy, yeah, that fucking snitch. He's a
Yeah.
good guy, man. He was a good guy.
Oh
But
no. Mm-hmm.
Eric was my buddy, and he was gonna go. He just reenlisted, and I was the only one that didn't have anything going on. And the colonel told me, he's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I'm just gonna get out." And he was like, "No, you're not." And I was like, "No, I mean, I think I'm gonna get out." And he said, "You tell me what you want, anything that you want to get you to stay in, and I'll make it happen."
Oh
And
shit.
so I said I wanted to reclass to canine handler. Um, and I guess that's not really possible unless you're an MP.
MP, yeah.
Uh, so they did the whole thing. They tried. He called the retention NCO and he said, "Hey, I'm going to send this soldier down to you. I want you to get him a slot as a canine handler." Da 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 da. I had to go in. I had to take the that stupid fucking test where you do the beep test and you have to do deadlift and all that shit.
Okay.
OPAT, I think. Um,
Mhm.
and then we did a bunch of paperwork, and the retention NCO, he fought for like a couple months trying to get me a slot for the canine handler school,
Mhm.
and it just wasn't going to happen until they finally wrote back and they said, look, he's not an MP, why would we give him a chance at this school?
Right.
So uh then I was talking to the retention NCO, and he was like, it's like, I don't know what else to do for you. If you have any other jobs you want to do, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. And then I was talking with Eric, and Eric's like, dude, just go be a fister. Like, it's a completely different world than like being a Delta.
Mhm.
And being a fister in the military is a completely like it's a completely different military experience for one. But so I went back. I told him, I was like, hey, if you can get me a slot as a fister, I'll reenlist for that. The next day he called me up and he said, we have one slot available. If you want it, you have to come down here right now.
Oh
And
shit.
I went down there, fucking signed the contract, and then like a couple months later, I was on my way to Pennsylvania to do my reclass.
Hell yeah.
So
I'm sure the reclass is pretty simple though, right? Like, I mean, learning how to, well, probably had a lot to do with radios and calling for fire, map reading.
yeah, all your normal stuff. We had to do a land nav course. Um, I don't think we shot any. We didn't have to do like a rifle qual, but you had to do a PT test. I think at the beginning, at the end, you had to do a ruck march and a land nav course.
Mm.
Other than that, it was all call for fire, read maps, in the simple stuff.
And
So
then I mean they teach you, I'm guessing the capabilities of each system as well, whether it be the 119er, 777, a 155 Paladin, mortar systems, and you got to learn their fucking their capabilities. Like I said, like their distances and shit. That's pretty fucking
yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, and that was like a part of the job as a fister is you have a lieutenant, an infantry lieutenant that knows nothing,
Mm,
and he'll ask you like, hey, can we hit that with something? And then I have to know how far away that target is, and I have to tell him like, look, we can hit it with this or this or this, and like if we hit it with this, we can be standing at this distance, or we have to
right.
be, we're this close to these, we got to lay down, and like, or like we're uh so close, I have to get your initials to
Oh,
send in
shit.
with this fire mission.
God damn,
So
danger close, baby. Shit.
yeah, danger close.
Dude, I
Yeah.
just trip out on my well, there used to be always a blame game on the gun line. Like, like what the fuck is taking so long? Why ain't we getting any missions? FTC like, oh, we're waiting on the hill. And of course the hill will blame the fisters, and I mean the hill would blame the FTC would blame the guns, and just be one vicious cycle of everybody pointing fingers like, what the fuck is going on? Why can't we shoot? Because I mean that's the whole point of going out to the field is to go make things go boom. You know what I mean? That's the whole purpose of us. So y'all need to stop taking naps out there on that hill, bro, and just start sending the missions down. All right. Why the fuck does it take so long for y'all to send missions down?
Yeah,
Oh,
so sometimes like we would go out there, and it's not that we couldn't send missions, but it was really, there was something going on where like sometimes you're up there and you have to wait, for this fucking commander to show up because he
uh,
wants to watch. And sometimes that was the thing. Other times, like we would be up there and we'd be ready to go all day,
mm-hmm.
and no one would be there. We would show up the day before, sometimes be chilling, and they'd be like, oh no, they're not even going to come out until tomorrow. And then there's always like the way it was for me when I was a fister was we lived with the infantry,
Mm-hmm.
and so we went to the field with the infantry, we did everything with the infantry, and then randomly they would be like, hey, you guys got to go and support the artillery guys, and you have to help them too. And there was not a whole lot of communication with that. So it would be like, we would just randomly get told like, hey, this battery's going out to qualify and you guys have to go observe for it. And then we would be like, we just got back from like live fires with these guys. Like, and then they would be like, nope, go back out there.
Get your ass back out there to your job. Damn.
Yeah. And there wasn't a lot of consistency because they would send just whoever they wanted, and like they didn't have like a schedule. So they would just be like, who's available right now. So
let me ask you. So going through all that, like knowing what you know now, would you have chosen, well, let's talk about this. How long have you been out now?
It's been about two and a half years.
Okay. What were some of the did you have any challenges when you got out?
Yeah, I did. So like when I got out, uh went and I bought a brand new truck when I got out. And that was the biggest mistake that I did, was because I went and I got a job making way more money than I did when I was in.
Right.
And I went out and bought a brand new truck. And then I quit that job and I went and I was driving trucks. I was driving semis and I got fat and I was driving those trucks, and then like just decided that wasn't for me. And then I got out of driving trucks, and then now I got this big truck payment, and I'm like, you know what I mean? So like those were some challenges. And then like driving trucks was a challenge. Like I bought my own semi truck, and then when I decided I didn't want to drive trucks no more, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this semi truck. And I got to like, so it was a lot of struggles with the trucking stuff, and like just trying to even. Yes, sir.
No,
What's up?
yes, sir. I work for a living. Now, did you med board or did you just ETS?
I ETS. I just got out.
So
yeah, I was actually.
Go ahead.
I got out at Hood. So like you said, you were at Hood. I got out at Hood. I left Germany and I went to Hood, and I was at Hood for I was supposed to be there for 16 months, but it ended up being a lot less than that by the time I used some of my GI Bill to go get my CDL.
Okay.
They let me do that. And then I had a whole bunch of leave days saved up. So I was really probably only there for maybe 12 months.
Shit. What unit were you with in the Hood?
I was the Division Fire Support NCO.
Okay. I have no idea what that is.
Which I was in division, and I was an E5, and they had me slotted as an E7.
Damn.
Yeah. So, and that was a part of the reason I got out. So
it seemed like you weren't ever going to be able to get to your job, huh?
Well, no, just like when I was leaving Germany, I was like my reenlistment window was open. It was like $80,000 reenlistment bonus.
80
and 80,000. Yeah, was my reenlistment bonus. 80. Yeah.
Ooh, wee.
And I got out. And I got out.
I feel you though. I mean, it's not for everybody. But $80,000, I would have fucking been like, sign me up. Sign me up. Go ahead, man.
My plan wasn't even to get out. My plan was to stay in. But when I got to Fort Hood, I was in reception at Fort Hood, and I had orders to go to like 3rd Brigade or something, like a normal situation. And then on the day, and didn't have a sponsor contact me. I was a sergeant, and didn't have a sponsor contact me or anything. And then on the day that you're supposed to meet your sponsors, they like call everyone's name out. And then at the very end, I'm like, what the fuck? And then the guy that's reading off names, he's like, hey, Sergeant Duke. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, this is weird, but you got new orders and your sponsor's over there. So I go over there, and it's some girl. I forget her name. She was an NCO, and she worked like in the supply room in division. And she was like, hey, here's your orders. Or not here's your orders. She said, here's Sergeant Major Alvarez You might know Sergeant Major Alvarez. Do you know Sergeant Major Alvarez?
Mm-mm. Nah, I don't know that name.
Well, he was at the time he was the division fire support sergeant major, and she was like, "Here's his phone number. You need to give him a call."
Hmm.
So I call him up, and he was like, "Hey, come over to." It was about lunchtime. He's like, "Hey, come over to the division office, and when you get here, we're gonna have lunch and we're gonna talk." I'm like, "All right." So I thought I was in trouble. Thought I did
Yeah.
something wrong, but so I go to the division. I didn't know where it was. I had to find it, and then you got to have like you can't just you can get in the front door, but you can't leave like the lobby area because you have to scan your cat card to get indoors and shit.
Okay.
And so like I'm calling him, and he like sent someone out to get me and like brings me up there. I have lunch with him in his office, and he basically told me that if I was stuck in division unless I reenlisted, like that they weren't gonna let me get promoted. They were gonna keep me in division, and I had to
Damn.
reenlist. Otherwise, I was gonna stay there. And so I was like, nah, like I'll get out then. Like you're
Right.
not gonna just like hold. And I really like Sergeant Major Alvarez, and if he ever watches this, like I really do like him and appreciate everything he did for me when I was working for him. But I just didn't feel like that was fair, you
Right.
know? And I feel like they were kind of like trying to incentivize that I reenlist.
Mm-hmm.
But when you show up to a brand new unit and you do that to someone, like that was a huge reason why I ended up getting out, you know?
Right.
So,
So then UTS
um,
out of Fort Hood then, right? Out of the good old clean fucking Coppers Cove area. Oh, good night.
yeah.
I was there from '05 to '07, and fucking Fort Hood is the hood, baby. I'll tell you that much. You know, you go out that East Gate on Rancier, it's the hood. So okay, so you ended up getting out, and when you ETS, did you go straight back to Tulsa, or did you stay around
No, I
town?
went to Colorado.
Okay.
I went to Colorado. So I got a job working for this company, building, just basically doing construction. We were they had me building like big giant, basically like septic tanks for
Okay.
companies, or like, so Walmart has some sort of like sewer system, and a lot of times it's literally just a giant septic tank. And I was working for a company that would build that, and I was making $23 an hour plus overtime. I was working like 60 hours a week,
Damn.
and I did that for a while, and then my supervisor, um, your supervisor, or this company anyways, like the supervisor, his bonus is determined by how much profit he makes. So he
Mhm.
started cutting hours. So like I would work 60 hours, but I only get paid for 40. And that's when I quit.
Yeah,
Um,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
And then I went and drove trucks, and I drove trucks until I met my wife. And then um, when I met her, she was like, come to Tulsa. Let's fucking, figure it out. And now I'm here. Just I just do carpentry work. Trying to like we're trying to get it life figured out. Uh and then once I get into a situation where like I'm not spending so much money,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna go use my GI Bill for something. That's my
Yeah,
plan
dude.
right now.
That's good. That's good. One thing I
Yeah.
do recommend is definitely take advantage of your GI Bill and fucking dude. Even if you just got to get that, I had a couple of soldiers. What they ended up doing was when they ETS, they would file for unemployment, and then they would like get school, so that way they get their BAH for schooling, the school money and all that good shit, as well as the unemployment check. So that way they had funds
Um,
coming in. So me, I hit the ground running. Like, I mean, that's where I fucked up. I didn't get no break in between. But it sounds like you're somebody who likes to be outdoors, work with your hands, and fucking, you know what I mean? You're not like a corporate type or office job type, right? Is that fair to say?
well, I mean, like part of the reason I went to the army was because I was working construction, and I I didn't want to be doing that forever.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I go back to school for something, I want to get into a career where I'm not killing my body. Like I don't want to, just like the military like beats us down and everything, like doing construction's the same way,
Right.
So I don't know what it is that I'm gonna do. I've had lots of like ideas, but it's definitely gonna be something that I enjoy, but not something that's gonna kill me. So
I feel you on that, man. I got
yeah,
out and because I'm the type that I like to work. I like to be physical with work. So
yeah,
construction, my perfect type of work. Unfortunately, I got back issues, thanks to the good old army. But so I can work 1 to 2 days like of hard work. I'll give you some good hard work. The rest of the week, I'm gonna be laying in bed. You know what I mean? Like muscle spasmed out and just fucked. So I tried doing the corporate thing, like working at an office and all that shit. And unfortunately, that didn't work out well for me, especially for those of us that were in combat MOSs, because we just have a way of speaking, a way of talking, and just the way that we carry ourselves, and just our mannerisms sometimes are seen as almost threatening to some people. And I don't understand why. You know, like anyway. But I see what you're saying. So you don't have an idea what you want to go to school for, yet, though.
well, I have ideas. It's just I haven't like totally chose anything yet.
So do you regret
um
joining a combat MOS, or would you have preferred to join with a job that would have you lined up with a career on the outside?
no, I if I could do it all over, the only thing that I would try and do all over is I would try and enlist as a fox from the beginning.
Right.
That was the only thing I would change.
See,
And like
mhm, mhm, mhm.
a Del or a Bravo, maybe, like I probably could have fell in love with that job, or you know something combat related though is what I would have preferred to do.
That makes a lot of sense. I
So
mean, I get it. Like one of my buddies, my best friend, I could say, him, like we've always talked when we talk and we're discussing, like, why would we join the army to do something that we could do in the civilian sector? I'd rather say, I was fucking, well, he wanted to go airborne, be airborne artillery, so he could say that he kicked out howitzers and then jumped after him. You know what I mean? Because you want to do something that you don't do in the civilian sector. Now that's
yeah,
why I plan to do the whole 20. That was my whole plan, doing all 20 and then retiring, and I'm fucking done. You know what I mean? So I guess it all boils down to, though, what your plans are, your goals are in life as far as success goes. Like I've been talking a lot about success, what people find is successful. So what defines success for you, if you don't mind me asking?
uh I don't like care for all the fancy stuff. Like my wife makes more money than I do,
Mm-hmm.
and she's got a good job. And like I make good money, but she's on like salary and it's like in management and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like we don't have any kids. Neither of
Okay.
us have any kids, so it's just like as long as the house is good, you know what I mean. Like I'd like to maybe like someday, you know, buy like a little car and like fix it up or something,
Right.
have my little race car and like have my shop, um where I can go and piddle around and fuck with shit. But like I'm not trying to um be rich. I'm not like
See, and
I'd
and
like
I'm glad you
to
said
live.
that. No, I mean, I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people confuse being successful with being financially, you know, just rich, being able to shit money wherever you want. To me, it took me a long time to realize, what success is to me, when I have four walls and a roof, food on my belly, and I don't have a want. I don't have a need. Anything I do buy, it's because it'll be because I want it versus I need it. You know what I mean? But I think a
Yeah,
lot of people, they get stuck in this whole, I want to, keeping up with the Joneses. You know what I mean? And they
yeah.
end up just burying themselves in debt, bro. Shit, we're running out of fucking time. This shit went by quick, bro. Oh, we only got about 3 minutes left. So let me ask you, man. Any advice that you would give out to any future soldiers or future veterans coming out? Like, what would be some kind of advice that you would provide them, if any?
Uh, uh, you know, um, for guys going in, like it's easier just to do it. Um, like if you're only gonna do one contract or whatever it is, it's easier just to do your contract and get out than it is to, you know, like I seen a lot of guys that got in and wanted to get out so bad, so they try and like get in trouble or something. Um, and then for like guys getting out, you know, just do something that makes you happy, but don't uh, don't put yourself in a situation where you're um, in debt, like you're saying. Um, like I bought a fucking Peterbilt and all kinds of shit, and like was driving my own truck, you know, making a bunch of money, but it was like it really wasn't worth it for the amount of money that I was hemorrhaging compared to the amount of money that I got to keep. So if you're very like if you're ready to put in the work, do it. But you don't gotta do that shit to be happy, you know.
Honestly, you just need a,
So
just have your fucking, have yourself a good plan when you get out, and you might struggle on your way out, but always reach out to your fellow vets, your fellow brothers in arms, man. They're gonna be there to help you out, even if it's just fucking emotional support. You know what I mean? Um, shit. Man, I'm really happy you were able to get on here. I know this one went a little bit faster than normal for some reason. It blew by. But whenever you want to come back on, the invite is open. I'd love to have you back on here. We could just chop it up and shoot the shit now that we know about you. Now we'll have some more gunline conversations like we would out there in the field. But dude, would you be willing to come back on again?
yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, I'm sure just like you, I got all kinds of fucking funny stories
Oh
from
yeah.
being in. You know, we can. So yeah, anytime that you need to like fill a space and you need someone to come on and
Yeah.
be on the show, just hit me up.
Sounds like a plan, bro. All
Sure.
you got to do is hit me up like, hey man, you wanna, you mind if I come on? If you just want to come and talk and chop it up, trust me, this is like my therapy, bro. Therapy without the therapist, because there's nothing that understands. No one understands a veteran better than another veteran. You know what I mean? And like, I don't even know you from Adam, but now I do. And I swear to God, like, I mean, bro, whenever you want to hit me up, you got my number. And just feel free to hit me up anytime, brother. For everybody else, hey, thanks for being here on the Gunline, episode 292. We're close to 300. I don't know if we're gonna do something for 300, but anyways, my time's about to blow out. So with that said, rounds complete and a mission. Gunline out. March order, motherfuckers. Hey man, thanks a lot, dude.